Primordial Radio.
Download Festival 2022 is fast approaching. 3 years in the making. Of course, we had Download Pilot last year, small scale, 10,000 people, but this is the first time in 3 years Download Festival back at full scale. Now, we recently spoke to Download Festival organizer Andy Coppin and had a little chat with him about some of his favourite highlights of the festival over the past 20 years.
Highlights from the last 20 years. There's been a number of them, actually. First year, obviously, when we got it up and operating.
Fascinating to look back at Download Festival in 2003. Just a 2-day event, was a little bit earlier, end of May into June. I actually don't know anyone who went to Download Festival 2003 as a punter. So if you are one of those people, drop a comment. Let us know. What was it like back in 2003? We'd be absolutely fascinated to hear about that.
Then there was a year that Lars didn't turn up, so we had to get lots of drummers in to allow Metallica to do their set, which was amazing. 2009, I felt, was when the festival kind of came of age.
Man, Download Festival 2009 was such a memorable year. Certainly for myself personally as well. First time seeing Faith No More, they headlined Friday night. And then on the Saturday, it was the first time that Slipknot headlined Download Festival. One of the most iconic moments in Download Festival history. But actually for me, one of my standout memories of that year at Download Festival was on the Sunday, because just in the background as I was interviewing Corey from Trivium, all I could hear was the opening to Don't Stop Believing, and Corey kind of looked at me as I was sort of trying to wrap up this interview very quickly, and like Corey could sort of tell that I wanted to get the interview done, and he just stopped. He went, "Do you want to go watch Journey?" I was like, yes I do. He's like, go on. Then I just buggered off. Corey from Trivium, legend.
Obviously 2010 with AC/DC and the double stage.
Oh man, 2010, what a year. Of course, AC/DC bringing their own main stage, the only band that's ever done that, absolute legends. And I'm pretty sure it's the biggest Download Festival that has ever taken place. There were so many amazing bands across the weekend, though. Certainly remember Rage Against the Machine, but I also remember speaking to Slash at Download Festival in 2010 and his memories of playing Donington over the years.
It was super memorable because that was 1988, and it was the time that when Guns N' Roses came over here, not really knowing how massive the band had become, and the response that we got was just overwhelming. It stuck with me to this day. Today's really cool because, you know, Billy Idol's playing, Aerosmith's here, and the whole 3 days has been amazing acts. You know, Airborne's playing, we got Rage Against the Machine, who's one of the most fantastic bands of all time, and then AC/DC, of course, and all the other bands that are playing. So this is just great to be a part of it.
2012, when it was Metallica, Prodigy, and Black Sabbath.
As amazing as those sets were, let's not forget the real reason we remember 2012.
Rammstein, the first time they played at Download. Trivium in 2005, amazing.
Now this set, I think, just goes to show how important Download Festival is for new and up-and-coming bands, and how it can genuinely launch careers for bands. That set for Trivium is still talked about to this day. And a little while back, I had a conversation with Matt Hafey about that and how it launched their career for Trivium. This is Matt Hafey talking all about that.
So went out there and played, and it was an amazing crowd, and then we did the Garage show in London. Andy Copping was there, who's now a great friend of ours, who invited us to switch from playing the fifth stage in front of a couple hundred people to opening the main stage on the Saturday of Download. Remember, a couple minutes before we were going on, there was no one there. It was an empty hill. And we're like, wow, this is gonna suck. We start our intro, 11 o'clock hits, and then it was like the scene from Braveheart with just 40,000 people coming up a hill. And then thanks to that show, everything is going on. Thanks to that show, still, we're able to do what we do now. So it's always been the UK. It was the UK first with the Wolf Run Hall show, and then it was Download, and then thanks to Download, everything started getting bigger in the entire planet.
2006, when Jonathan Davis couldn't make it for Korn because he was ill, and we had lots of singers from other bands fill in for him.
Oh man, Download Festival 2006 was my very first Download Festival. It's just 16 years old. Yes, I'm that bloody old. All right, drop it. So good. And just remember my tiny little mind being blown at 80,000 people being in a field for rock and metal music and just having the best time and vibing off the music was so good. That set from Korn, though, was particularly memorable because, as Andy was saying, Jonathan Davis wasn't able to make it, so they had to scramble around to try and get different guest singers to salvage the set. I can't remember all the guests that appeared on the day, but there was Benji from Skindred, Shadows from Avenged, and Matt Hafey from Trivium, and a whole bunch more as well. It really was one of those very memorable moments, and great to see so many bands working together to help salvage Korn's set on the day. Also remember Strapping Young Lad. I think they were the first band I ever saw at Download Festival, coming over the hill, hearing that wall of noise from Strapping Young Lad, and then seeing Dev Skullet and just being like, what the fuck even is this? And even Will Smith was at Download Festival that year because wife Jada was there with her band Wicked Wisdom.
Been some amazing iconic moments, and I know there'll be plenty more.
I've no doubt there will be. For me personally, I do think that Spirit Box potentially could have one of those Download 2005 Trivium moments. The excitement around that band right now is palpable, and yeah, you just wonder if it's going to be a similar sort of thing with Spirit Box at Download Festival this year. One I would like to add just from a personal standpoint in terms of highlights over Download Festival, for me, Download 2014, Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory in full. I will never forget that set. It was just such a special moment. Yes, a new metal prodigy child growing up right in that era of bands like Linkin Park, Papa Roach, Limp Bizkit, but you could just feel the atmosphere that night as they did the album in full, and it was such a special evening. Rest in peace, Chester. So after 3 years of waiting, it's finally here. And I think after everything that we've all been through and all the bullshit that life has thrown at us over the last 3 years, it is just going to be so good to be in a field at Donington again with friends, watching great live music and just forgetting about the world for a few days and just having the chance to enjoy ourselves. That's what I'm looking forward to most. So if you're there, we'll see you in the field. And who knows, even the weather might hold out.
Prime Audio.